Cheering at pro wrestling shows in Japan is back, and 2023 is already shaping up to be a big year in the history of pro res. That's why you should listen to the Emerald FlowShow. From the Royal Road to the Green Mat, Paul and Gerard take you into the world of All Japan Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah. Not only do we analyze events, but we examine business, who is getting over, what angles are working or not. Occasionally, we take a look at other Japanese promotions like DDT and Zero One. So if you're looking for more coverage of the world of Japanese wrestling, check out the Emerald FlowShow on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on all of your favorite podcast apps.
Hello there, my name's Neil David and I'm the host of Eurograps Express, the podcast exclusively dedicated to the wrestling of Europe. If it's wrestling and it happens in Europe and it's good, we talk about it. Whether it's RevPro, Progress, WXW, Passion Pro, Pro Wrestling Chaos, Pro Wrestling North, we don't care, we talk about them all. If it's good and it's exciting, I want to share it with you. We're on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Check us out on the feed, check us out on Twitter at EuroGrapsEXP, and join us for chat about European wrestling and a little bit of chat about cheese. Hopefully see you there.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Kiss me like a love star. So I'm a curry. Whoa, kimi kata omoi. Namida no shitsure Give me fire, give me double chatters.
You're listening to the Emerald FlowShow on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 37 of the Emerald FlowShow. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Emerald FlowShow, and you can listen to us on all of your favorite podcast apps. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're feeling generous, you can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show. I'm Gerard DeTroyo here with Paul Vosch. Paul, we're doing a quick turnaround this time, but there's really a lot to talk about.
Yes, no, it's a very quick turnaround. I mean, it's really it's like 3 days since we last recorded, I think.
We recorded on what, Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, we recorded on Thursday and it's Sunday now, so yeah. Very quick turnaround.
Well, it's enough has happened, and we found something else to fill out the other half of the show too.
Yeah. And I went to a concert actually.
Oh, that's right. How was
did a lot of stuff. Yeah.
How was the concert?
Oh, it was amazing. It was Lordi, Baby Metal, and Sabaton, and it was absolutely awesome. All three of them.
That's quite the combination.
They fit together better than I thought they would, especially Baby Metal and Sabaton. Like I love both of them, but it didn't fit that they would actually kind of complement each other. Like I think they're both really flashy bands. I think they actually work well as I think Baby Metal actually works really well as support for Sabaton, and then Sabaton just absolutely tore the house down for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. And so we've got a lot to get to, but something we missed on our last episode, Paul, Koji Iwamoto's return to pro wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm really curious what he's going to do now.
And but he's not in All Japan because I think his contract expired probably at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
he had one. I think it was reported that he had one more year left, and that he was just gonna take that entire contract year off basically and was going to be a free agent.
But he's basically returning on June 18th at a Keiichi Sato producer. It's him and Sato versus Kotaro Suzuki and Daimonji So.
Hmm. I mean, I'm really curious because I think, remember, like back when he was like starting to take his hiatus, like we were kind of like throwing around ideas what he might do, and my idea was that he was just gonna pop up and great, but it
Mhm.
doesn't seem like that's the case. But I mean, we're actually going to talk about some big Japan as well because something I might be curious about because Fuminori Abe is also a free agent. Like he left Basara as well at the end of the year, and
Mhm.
Abe and Iwamoto came up together in Sportiva back
Right.
in the day. Because I remember like when both of them were like pretty new and both of them were like starting to get booked by All Japan. I was actually hoping that because they have like really good chemistry. I was actually hoping that both of them would get signed, and then
Mhm.
Abe went to Basara instead. So I'm wondering if maybe if something gets started, they both might like join up with that.
Oh, you think something else is going to start?
I don't think anything major, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's like they're gonna work together in some ways. Because again, like I know that they haven't really done that much together like in the last years, but I think they're still like they both joined the dojo, I think pretty much like the Sportiva, like gym, like pretty much at the same time. So there's obviously still like a connection there. And they're both free agents now at the same time.
Mhm. Now, do you think it's possible that Iwamoto returns to All Japan now that a certain someone is gone?
I wouldn't be shocked about that either. Yeah. Like, I can tell you which promotion he won't be popping in, and that's Kyushu Pro. I'm pretty sure about that.
I mean, that's assuming that Tajiri was the source of all of these problems, which not a bad guess. I don't
No, I
know.
mean, given that like that pretty much like Nomura made his return the moment Tajiri got cooed out of power, I think it's a pretty strong sign.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we thought he was finished with pro wrestling to become a bodybuilder, but Ryomo Tsukamoto is returning on what's the date here? Well, it's in hard hit. He's coming back in I think June or May.
I mean, that is all Japan adjacent. Like again, it's run by Hikaru Sato.
Yeah. So it's sort of weird, I think, but because I thought his knee was sort of fucked.
I mean, if you kind of want to like try it out, going to like something like hard hit, where you just work like what 4 times, 6 times a year, I think max. Like you don't run much shows than that. Like if you really want to like see if your body can hold up, I think that's like a perfect way to like test that out. I think OG Shiba actually did something similar because he left Dragon Gate with like loads of like injury problems as well.
Yeah.
And I think like a couple of his first matches were like in hard hit as well. And then when he like felt more comfortable, that's when he like started and branching out and appeared like All Japan as well. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what this is, and or maybe he just wants to be a weekend warrior, which I guess if you've already had like knee problems, that might also, and you still want to continue wrestling, might also
Right.
not be the worst idea.
That's very possible. So we'll have to see what happens to Iwamoto and Tsukamoto. But since we're on the topic of someone with knee injuries, Paul, we also forgot to mention this.
Uh,
Naoya Nomura did a live stream on his Instagram where he said he hasn't had knee surgery yet because his knee got infected,
that's really bad. That's
and he's
really
going to be
really
out for
bad.
even longer.
Yeah, I mean, when the first knee injury happened, I was like, I feel hopeful that he's coming back, but if the knee is getting infected, that's really not a good sign. That's gonna make things so much worse.
Yeah, so he hasn't even had surgery yet. So I'm not even gonna bother to
No, no, I think
try to
he is,
play.
yeah, he's out
Yeah,
until further notice. Like
and
if he
and
comes back at all, I think it's good at this point.
yeah, and I think unfortunately, I was a little hopeful when he did return, but I think the ship has sailed on him, even if he does
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back, because
No, I think especially with all the young guys and everything.
and possibly someone else that we're going to talk about a lot on this upcoming
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
So that's very unfortunate, but obviously, Naoya is one of my favorites, so I wish him very
no,
well in his recovery, and I hope to see him back in the ring.
Yeah, this is gonna be such a like big what if like people start looking back at this era of like All Japan in like 10 years or so.
Yeah, he's definitely the biggest what if, um, which is truly a shame. But I mean, it wasn't even the pandemic. He legitimately had a very bad neck injury and
Yeah,
everything like
yeah,
that.
no, yeah. He didn't even get to like he skipped the pandemic like by accident completely.
Yeah, um, which and then he made some questionable choices
Yeah.
as he was
Well, to
getting
be
back
fair,
into it.
I don't fault him for like going to the basement because I think that was a similar. Let's test out if my body can hold up before I like go somewhere bigger.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So what the reason why we were recording only like 3 days later again, Champion Carnival finals at Oda City General Gymnasium, Paul, in front of 2,437 fans.
Great number.
That blew away my expectations. I
Yeah.
thought if they get to 2,000, that would be a big success. But damn, they beat the
They beat New Japan.
they beat the New Japan 51st anniversary show, which was Bishamon versus Okada and Tanahashi, and they were about 300 less than New Year's Dash.
Yeah, and we should mention as well that it apparently was like pouring rain in Tokyo that day, so there was basically no walk up.
Yeah, so that's impressive. And honestly, I was looking. I don't know. This is not an exact science, but there was a lot. When you go to the tickets, it's like plenty available. There's only a few left and sold out. Only like the front row was sold out, and there was a lot of like, more general admission style stuff available. So I was a little skeptical that they would set a record like this. Is what I should say, basically.
Oh yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
this is
but
their biggest number since like really far back because
well,
before the pandemic they haven't really run that building since like 2013.
mhm. Well, there was the 50th anniversary show,
Yeah. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
but before that, the next biggest attendance was February 2020. No, sorry, February 2019, which was Suwama versus Kento at Yokohama, the old Yokohama Bunka.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you mean like in terms of like the general attendance? I was talking
Yes.
about I was talking about Ottawa
Oh no,
specifically.
no, I'm
Yeah, no. No, but yeah, this is the best attendance in like a long time, like excluding the 50th anniversary.
yeah. So that's a very good sign, I think. I thought the show was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I really like the show as well. It was long though. It was really long.
Yeah, well, that was a completely unnecessary intermission they took.
That I don't know what happened there. Like the Big Japan intermission wasn't that long, and they had to like clean up after death matches.
Yeah, I know. Oh well, I see. I was thinking long and hard about this during this intermission, and I wonder that they do these intermissions on these big shows like this because they are trying to get every single last yen of merch sales they can.
Yeah, and I mean we've heard reports that like the checky lines and everything for Anzai are already pretty long. So if you have,
Oh, and
I don't know if
Unagi's
Naito was
checky
selling
lines were
anything,
probably
but like
Unagi's
yeah,
checky lines probably too.
yeah.
Uh,
So they were probably like selling a boatload of merch and just wrung the people dry. And then when they were sure that everyone was actually back, they restarted the show.
Yeah, that would not shock me if that was some of the logic behind it. So we start off with the New Japan Young Lion team of Yuto Nakajima, Ryohei Oiwa, and Kosei Fujita. They defeated Ryuki Honda, Ryo Inoue, and Oji Shiba in 9 minutes and 30 seconds with an arm lock from Fujita on Inoue. Paul, this was another one of those great like New Japan Lions coming in and fucking things up.
Yeah, no, this was violent. This was surprisingly more violent than some of the death matches in Big Japan.
Nakashima got busted open, like his mouth.
Yeah, and yeah, no, this was just there was some hatred here. This felt like this feels like an actual feud, despite the fact that it's just like a bunch of young guys. And the biggest young boy isn't even involved in this. Like Anzai is kind of like out of the feud now, which is like even weirder.
Yeah, because they decided to like play up Honda and Nakashima instead.
Which I mean, that's a nice thing to like transition to. Like if you like, I mean, and that's also like an easy, nice win to like give Honda as well if you want to do that as a singles match at some point.
Hmm. There's less politics on that one because Honda's like not a young guy.
Yeah,
So yeah, maybe. But I still want to see that Nakashima Enzyme match.
no, that should be ton of fun too.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you got to pick and choose, you got to watch this.
Yeah,
It's just the
no,
usual, like,
definitely. You could skip towards the end, but like you should like watch that beginning one as well.
yeah. Next up, we had the junior special six-man tag match. Atsuki Aoyagi, Rising Hayato, and Al Lindemann defeated Kaito Ishida, Kotaro Suzuki, and Yutani of Black Generation International in 11 minutes and 36 seconds when Atsuki used a fireboard splash on Suzuki. This wasn't quite as heated as that first match, but it was still a pretty good like junior six-man.
Mm-hmm. But you're surprised Suzuki was taking the pin and not Yutani.
Yes, I was actually.
But I guess it makes sense due to what happened later because they wanted to give Atsuki a bit more of a statement win, I guess.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I thought in this match it would just be like Lindemann pinning one of the
yeah,
the other
also could have been, yeah.
great guys just for that. But yeah, I mean this was good. But I would have. Well, we'll talk about this in a bit, but I would have had this a little later on the card.
Yeah, no, there were definitely other things that you probably could have put into this spot. Maybe like a nice singles match or something.
Yes, definitely. Oh, and a report from Adam Croydon, who is in the VOW Discord. He said he was at the show and that Hayato is extremely over among the young women.
Yeah, I mean, that surprised me. Like, that's the exact type of character that Dragon Gate has made an absolute shitload of money of the years. Like, I'm surprised no one's really tried and copy that over the years. But I think finally all Japan is like realized it's like, oh yeah, if you just have this kind of character, there's like a specific type of woman that will just go absolutely bonkers and basically buy everything, every kind of merch or anything this person ever puts out.
Well, they're kind of doing it with that Atsuki too.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, there was the report, right, that like the Aoyagi's brothers were like even outselling Kento in terms.
Yeah. That was from a month or two ago. And so next up, special six-person tag match. Yoshitatsu, Unagi Sayaka, and Saki defeated Hikaru Sato, Kaori Yoneyama, and Yu in 10 minutes and 44 seconds with a diving knee drop from Saki on Yoneyama. So what we seem to be going here with these mixed tag matches in All Japan is we started off relatively serious, and they're becoming more and more comedy matches each time out.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
is
at
the
least
most...
we had some. Yeah, at least we had some interactions between Unagi and Suwama backstage. So
yes, that was after the show, so that's not dead. But I mean, this was more comedy. Hikaru Sato was in his YMZ gimmick with that. What do you even call that piece of clothing? I don't know.
The sweater, right?
Yeah, the turtleneck sweater with no sleeves.
The Virgin Killer sweater. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Yoshitatsu came out wearing one. And then
that's not a sight I really needed to see, to be quite honest.
And then at one point he put one on Unagi.
Yeah.
Now is this the first appearance of pervert Hikaru or like hentai Hikaru Sato or whatever you want to call him in All Japan?
I feel like he's done it once or twice, but at like house shows. Never at like a major show, I think.
Oh, at Shinkiba probably.
Yeah, I think he's done it at like Shinkiba shows, yeah.
But this is like definitely the biggest show he's ever done this on in All Japan.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, including YMZ shows.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So,
but I have actually seen pervert Hikaru Sato like very close in action because I actually back in 2019 I actually did go to a YMZ show.
What was that like?
It was really fun. It had because it actually had a really good singles match. It had Hikaru Shida versus Isami Kodaka as a singles match in the main event. Yeah, that was really good.
That's interesting. Yeah, so this had, a lot of like Sato pervert spots. So, your mileage may vary on those and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The last couple minutes were like actually perfectly good wrestling from the women. So
Mhm.
leading up to
And
Yoni
I still don't know
Yamamoto.
where we're actually going with this, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, after backstage, I didn't watch the whole thing, but like Suwama came up to Inagi and like they yelled at each other and stuff like that. So
I mean, maybe the Suwama heel turn is not like him getting kicked out of Voodoo Murderers. It's him finally teaming up with Unagi.
he's been assessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inagi's going to assess him. So it seems to be this deal. And next up, we had Shuji Ishikawa, Cyrus, Ren Ayabe, and Oscar Loibe defeated Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Mitsuya Nagai, and the smallest X ever, Black Menso Ray, with a Fire Thunder driver on Ishikawa on Menso Ray. Should be noted that Menso Ray was the referee for the previous match, and then he like tried to swerve everyone and then took his shirt off and was like, "I'm in the match," even though the match graphic silhouette was clearly Black Menso Ray.
Yeah. To be fair, I actually liked that one. I actually thought that was funny.
Well, I mean, of course, Mensa Ray got like tossed around by the very large man for a bunch. And then like the last couple of minutes were actually pretty good. And Mensa Ray like held his own against Ishikawa and like got a near fall and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's always easy to forget that Mansour is just an actually good wrestler.
Yes, he is.
He just is just doing comedy spots all the time, but whenever he like does get to like properly wrestle, it's really good. Like I would always like call back when he had that Gaor TV title match with Jun Kasai, and they basically just did like a bunch of like comedy spots early on, and then they just switched over to having a serious match, and it actually ended up being really good. And I think Mensure even took off his mask as well in that one.
Yes, he did. And then there was that match against Sato for the junior title last year because someone got sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also great. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? Oh, Hiroshi Yamato. He got COVID and then like Mensure subbed in like 2 days notice, and that was also really good.
To be fair, I think that's also one of the reasons why he's like in All Japan, because he's just a very solid hand that he can put into like whatever position you need him in, and even like a more serious spot if like really big emergencies happen. So
yeah,
like he's just a great glue guy on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I like this match. You know, was everyone getting in their spots here? I noticed that Nagai wrestled the least of anyone in this match.
I don't even remember a single thing. I just remember him standing, just leaning on the top turnbuckle, and that's all I remember him doing, to be honest.
Nagai started and he did some stuff against Cyrus, I think, and then like he just disappeared.
Yeah. No, but like the big man, like them just tossing around Black Mansour, that was a ton of fun.
So this was a lot of fun, I thought. Simple formula, but it was well pulled off.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Minoru Suzuki and Hokuto Omori defeated Yuma Aoyagi and Takao Omori in 8 minutes and 53 seconds with a God-style pile driver on Takao Omori from Suzuki. The funny thing was at the beginning of this match, Hokuto and Takao started off, and then there was like Omori chants. And Hokuto was like, "Oh, are these for me?"
Yeah, of course it was. He's such a good prick. Like that's why it's still like, yeah, he's really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say about this match. It was a nice little like 3-star match and everything like that. Just to put these guys on the show, really, it felt like it.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever get a name for the Suzuki faction.
Yeah, although I suppose given the talent involved, you could have moved this somewhere up and something else down.
Yeah. I wonder what you're talking about. Yeah, no idea.
And then we had our intermission, our long intermission.
Do we just want to take a break for as long as the intermission is?
No,
because our longest episode if we do that.
Yeah. So when we returned from intermission, we had the PWF World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Naruki Doi defeated Dan Tammer in 11 minutes and 58 seconds with the Bakatare sliding kick for his second successful defense of the title. I thought this was pretty good. I don't know if it was as good as it was definitely not as good as I thought the Hayato or Atsuki matches that Doi had, but still very good. Told the story of Doi had problems keeping Tamura down, but then eventually put him down after what's the move he uses to set up the Bakatare?
the TKO. I don't remember what he's calling it.
He did like those
First,
three
yeah,
of those in a row before he could hit the
yeah.
Bakatare on.
I really like that as a finish. Like I think Doi, like I think he's done that in all three matches where like he's made like he made Atsuki, Hayato, and Dan look really strong in defeat.
Well, he used the muscular bomb on Atsuki.
Yeah,
So.
and then Hayato got to kick out of one Bakatare
Oh,
sliding
that's
kick.
right. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then he used like the three or four like TKOs on Dan before he like hit the Bakatare.
Yeah. So, I thought I guess there was we talked about this on the last episode, a slight chance, but I didn't really think it was going to happen because Atsuki came out after the match to challenge, and I assume since that match wasn't announced, it's going to be on the June Ode Award, and really it should be.
Yeah. And also they kind of spoiled the outcome of this during intermission when they announced a bunch of upcoming cards. Because I actually only talked about that in the Discord after the match was finished because I saw that and I was like, oh shit, that's gonna lose because it was just all Doi and Atsuki on opposite sides, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I think I get what's happening here.
Yeah. Sort of interesting because I don't know where Doi goes from here because he lost in the first round of the King of DDT tournament the day before, and now it looks like he's going to lose the title. So it'd be interesting to see what happens where he bounces to next. Or he might hang around, but what's he going to do?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just kind of downcycling himself from now. Like he kind of did a bunch of stuff like as a freelancer, and like he did a bunch of like really important stuff, put a bunch of people over. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's just kind of like taking it easier going forward.
Take a few paychecks just to show up instead of doing too much, I guess.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I mean, I unfortunately took a look at the latest J Stage show. Guess who were because Doi worked the opener on that one, but guess against who, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he worked Joji Otani in the
Oh my
in the
God.
opener. Yeah, yeah. At least he won, I guess, but yeah, that's still I don't know. Yeah.
That's interesting that he would
wrestling.
be willing to work against him because so many other even small companies won't even touch him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I guess it's also like out of the way enough as well because it's like it wasn't even Shinkiba, it was like Basement Monstar in front of like 70 people.
Didn't before the pandemic, J Stage actually like kind of draw like decent crowds for an indie?
I don't remember anywhere else, but like the Shinkiba show I went to with them like drew pretty good. Like that was sold out. But that also had Strong Hearts in the main event.
Next up, we've alluded to this match. Kono defeated Manabu Soya in 8 minutes and 53 seconds with a crossed arm breaker. Now, let me say this. This wasn't like horrible, but it wasn't great either. Kono just moves very slowly at this point and everything like that. So it just sort of killed the flow of the show.
Yeah. Submission specialist, Kono.
Yes. MMA Kono. So this should have been like
Funaki after Burnett.
This should have been like the second or third match of the show.
Yeah, no, there was no like I kind of get why they put this here because the other setup match for the tag title match was next, but yeah, I agree that like you just came off like a really good like title defense, like a really like high speed match as well because that match was like go and then you go to Kono after that and it just it really disrupted the flow of the show.
And then next up, the All Japan World Tag Team Title Skirmish. Suwama, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito defeated Keno, Hiroki, and Hajime Ohara in 17 minutes and 17 seconds when Suwama used the last ride on Ohara. Paul, I think this was pretty good. You could say maybe it went a couple minutes too long, but I loved every second of the Suwama and Keno stuff, and they have great chemistry.
Yeah. No, I actually like this one as well. This exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
I actually even like Suwama working with the Noah Juniors because he's just so much taller than them.
Yeah.
Like because Noah on average is like even the heavyweights, like they're taller than the juniors, but not by that much. Not like this size
Like
difference. Because
Keno.
Manabu Soya, yeah, exactly, yeah, or but even Manabu Soya, who's like one of the tallest guys there, like Tsuwama towers over him.
Yeah.
So yeah, him just and like same with the Satos as well. So them just kind of going in there and just destroying Hiroki was like really good. Like
Yeah.
it was really fun to see, and I agree that it exceeded my expectations. And then we also got a nice preview, or rather, we got a spoiler for something that will later happen in Noah then as well after the match.
What was that?
Well, what happened after the match was over?
Oh, Keno got put in a body bag.
Yes, so that means Keno is winning the N1.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a good I think that's can run with some good luck if you get stuffed in a body bag like a couple months before a
Very
tournament.
clearly, yeah.
Yeah. So they carried Keno out and then they like cut a promo backstage with like Keno in the body bag lying on the ground in front of them.
Yeah, and then they walked away, and then Keno just looked like he was taking a very peaceful nap until Hiroki took him out of the body bag.
I thought the Saitos looked actually pretty decent here too.
Hmm.
I just think that like at some point like the match did everything it needed to do and then it just kept going.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah,
you know,
yeah. No, I agree. But I think the best spot probably was, I think it was Jun Saito who just speared like Keno into oblivion.
yep. Well, there's also that spot where Keno moved out of the way and then like Ray splashed June and then
Yeah.
Keno did like the PFS off the top onto both of them.
Yes. No, Keno, as always, was the highlight of the match.
Oh, and Keno was over as like a baby face.
Yeah.
I should add
I
the
didn't
crowd
expect
on
him to get this many like reactions from an All Japan crowd.
no, yeah. Should add the crowd was great on this show.
Yes. No,
From the
yeah.
very first match, which was a very good, smart thing because you put in like an interpromotional match to start the show. It got them hot early.
Mm-hmm. Because I wouldn't be surprised if there was like at least some like more like New Japan fans at that show.
Oh, there definitely were.
Yeah. So yeah, no, you got the crowd hot, and then it like stayed hot like all night long. Yeah, no, I think that's actually something now that we're kind of like basically because Japanese crowds are kind of different now. Like I think in that way, like they kind of need to like do more stuff like that where they actually have like an opener that really gets the crowd hot now.
Yes,
You can't just throw out like a young boy singles match. You actually need to like give people something to sink their teeth into.
absolutely. You have to like heat them up a lot harder at the beginning and everything like that.
No, and All Japan has been good about that. Like
Yeah.
them throwing out like Kento first, like Rilchi as the first person out of the
Well, the
curtain
funny
on the
thing
show.
was, I thought that the crowd was sort of hot when they were doing the big like Kono versus Soya introductions, and then they quieted as the match went on.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually, now that I think about, Noah has actually been doing something similar as well, and it's been working pretty well for them, where they like send out Kano to cut a
Yes.
promo at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's not just to kill time when your wrestlers mysteriously disappear.
No, yes, because that was very reasonable when we expected that, but he did that at the show on Thursday as well. So I was like, oh, maybe that is like an actual thing, and that crowd was great. So
Yeah.
like that seems to be working.
Speaking of heat, Tetsuya Naito and Bushi defeated Kento Miyahara and Yuma Anzai in 1717 with a Destino from Naito on Anzai. I mean, this was like almost a spectacle in a way. Because, long ass entrances from both teams, of course, because of Kento and Naito. And then Naito, gingerly like removing his suit. And then Naito stalling, of course, because he's avoiding like locking up with Kento, tagging in and out to Bushi. And then they finally lock up, and then like it's like a really fun match. And then the last few minutes of Anzai and Naito are great. Like Anzai gets like a 2.9 on Naito to the huge like crowd reaction, and then it like didn't it take both like Naito and Bushi to finally put Anzai away?
Yeah, pretty much. Bushi hit the whatever he calls his like code breaker thing.
Yeah.
And then he like dove onto Miyahara on the outside as well to like keep him out.
Yeah. So Anzai looked good in defeat. You got your first Kento, and because I'm pretty sure they'd never met before. I couldn't find anything.
I don't think where they even would have.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it's like it was a spectacle match. Like, I mean, the work was good in the later half of the match, but like you have to take in the whole thing as like the stalling and the character work. Oh, and Kento like clocked the biggest fucking loogie in Naito. Did you see how big that was?
Yeah, no, he went deep on that one. He got some flag on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, if you like when Naito and his opponents spit on each other, also this match is for you.
Yeah, that's
But I mean,
definitely a sign that we're post-COVID now.
yes. Yeah, and because Kento got misted by Bushi
Yep, that too.
and everything like that. So I mean, you know, if you are a Naito fan, you have to see this match, I think.
And I need to say, I actually did, like, they got me very bravely.
Yeah.
Like, I think they might actually do the absolutely insane thing here and actually have Anzai pin Naito. Because Naito delayed that kick out until like literally like the last millisecond.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
mean,
then after that, it was clear what was going to happen. But yeah, no, that was pretty good. Semi-main.
do you have any idea what Miyahara said on the mic after the match? Like, was it continuing to tease stuff with Naito, or I don't know?
I have a feeling that's what he was doing. And I mean, that might not be like, that might be also like a good thing for like all together, where you do
Yeah.
like Kento, Yuma, and like someone else, maybe Anzai versus Naito and like Shingo and Hiromu or someone.
Yeah, because I was listening for Kento to say like all together or something, but he didn't say it. So
Yeah, I was very much listening to that as well, where I was like kind of felt like that might be something they might do for that. Because that
yeah.
would make a ton of sense.
Oh, for sure. And then in the main event, Champion Carnival final, Shotaro Ashino defeated T-Hawk in 26 minutes and 45 seconds with the ankle hold. He did it, and once we knew this match was happening, it was like I was like, 100%, not a shred of doubt that Ashino was winning this. But
Mhm.
and I even went as far as making a prediction of Ashino making the finals. But him winning it all, I was definitely a surprise
Yeah.
from where we were a month ago.
Yeah, no. It went from the body bag to the Champion Carnival, like whenever. I remember at the end of the last Ota Award show where Nagata won the title, or not the Ota Award, Korakuen, where Nagata won the title, and all of the Champion Carnival participants came out after that, with one exception,
Yeah.
and it was Shotaro Ashino because he had just been put in the body bag by voodoo murderers and just carried out. And remember when like we were like thinking about, okay, what does this mean? Like what does happen from here? Does he actually join voodoo murderers now? And it's like, nope, they just never followed up with it. And then we're just like, no, he's just gonna win the Champion Carnival. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, sure.
So as far as the match went, I thought it was very good. I went 4.25. I mean, they used the time well. It was hard hitting. There's something about it that just didn't feel like it was like match of the year level.
No,
but they got close. But
they did.
I mean, it was a great match, and I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish and everything. But it's not going to be on my top 10 of the year.
No. One thing I'm curious about, like, was T-Hawk just really good at selling the leg, or was his leg actually like a little bit fucked for parts of the match? Because they didn't really do a lot of like they did a lot of like standing and chopping each other's spots and everything.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
So, but yeah, no, it was still really good. I mean, like standing and chopping is something that T-Hawk is like very, very good at. So
yeah, and Ashino can do that too with like the European uppercuts and everything like that.
Yeah.
I would say that it's just a shade below. Like if you think of all of the like highly lauded All Japan matches this year, like the tag title match,
mm-hmm.
and like Kento and Yuma,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, those are like two that
even like Doi versus Hayato.
Even Doi versus that's interesting. I don't know.
I like Doi versus Hayato. I think I went 4 flat on a Champion Carnival final, so I like Doi Hayato more.
Okay, so I guess you could say it's in that sort of Hayato Doi level, like just below like the absolute top flight stuff.
Yeah, Yeah. No,
But
I don't think it's gonna make my top 10 at the end of the year, but like it was still really good.
but the crowd was like, "Oh, Ashino was so over."
Yeah, no, that crowd was most.
And the thing
And
is,
Ashino
Ashino's
played
been
such a prick.
yeah, and Ashino well, okay, so Ashino comes into the company during the pandemic, right? So it's over 2 years of no crowd cheering with Ashino in All Japan.
Hmm.
And then that very first Shinkiba that they had with cheering, I think in November or December, whenever it was, he was incredibly over, and he's been incredibly over the entire time, Paul. So which leads me to this next comment: they have to pull the trigger. They have to do it.
I mean, it's now or never.
It's now or never. I thought that he was permanently fucked, but they managed to rehab him.
Hmm.
And if he loses this to Nagata, like he's not coming back as like a
No,
credible champion, Triple Crown champion.
no. I mean, it's also because at that point, like, there's other people that are coming up that are like pushing
Yeah.
into like spots that will be taken up.
And Yuma's right behind him.
Yuma's right behind him. Anzai's not that far behind him. Honda is not that far behind him either.
Yeah.
Like there's three people that are like strongly pushing towards like main event level right now. Three young guys as well.
All younger
Like
than
not
him.
that
Much younger
Ashino's
than him.
old. Not that Ashino's old, but like yeah.
Well, let's see.
He's like 32, I think.
Ashino is 33.
33, yeah. So
His
right
birthday's
around
actually on January 4th. And yet he could never get into that New Japan dojo.
No.
But so he's 5 years older than
Yuma.
and he's
Way younger than like he's like 10 years younger
10
than
years older than
Honda.
Honda.
Yeah, 10 years older than Honda.
And
Like around similar with Anzai. I think Anzai's like 20.
Anzai's 23.
23, yeah, so same.
Yeah. So yeah. You know,
So like it's now or never because
because those guys are like
Yeah.
gonna be they're not far behind him and they're gonna be
Mhm.
able to be around a lot longer.
yeah. So but I feel like if he wins now, that means he is also sticking around like as a main
Yes.
eventer after that.
Absolutely.
And I feel
And-
like that's probably the right thing to do for the promotion because you need someone as like a basically stopgap for those or like as like a
I don't
thing to overcome for those three.
look if in my honest opinion though, Ashino wins this, he gets a couple of defenses, and at best he maybe is a transitional champ again once in the future. I don't think he's a long term.
Oh yeah, no.
champion.
I don't think it's like a long term like, but he still needs someone like if he wants to be like a credible guy for like a Honda to overcome in a Champion Carnival final like 4 years down the line, he needs to be a Triple Crown champion now.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, here's my logic of where I think I see this. They got another Oda Ward Gym in June, right?
Mhm.
What's the main event that they haven't done yet?
Ashino versus Yuma.
No, Ashino versus Kento for the Triple Crown.
Oh, for the triple. Oh yeah, right. They've never done that. Yeah.
No.
Because he only got shots against Suwama and Jake Lee.
And he's only faced Kento in like Champion Carnival matches.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's like a great like statement win for Ashino
yeah,
before he drops it to Yuma.
yeah, I think that's what they got to do.
Yeah.
And it immediately adds to Ashino's credibility.
I mean, especially like if they were just gonna make this like a throwaway title defense for Nagata, I think they've done way too much work to build that up.
Oh yeah. No, it's just
Because
like
they've been teasing that for a while now. That like there's some. Yeah.
it's one thing to have Yuma win the Champion Carnival and not win
Mhm.
because of where he is and how old he is.
Yeah.
It's different for Ashino. Like the thing with Jake, they had to put the title on him as soon as he won the Champion Carnival, right? And they did.
Yeah.
Because imagine Jake didn't win.
Oh
that,
no. Yeah.
You know.
It would be even more of a geek than he even was by the end of his All Japan run.
Yeah. So I mean, I just don't. I mean, trust me, I could see them having Nagata beat him. You know,
Mhm.
this is all Japan.
Yeah.
But it's so stupid on so many levels.
No, and I think at this point they kind of need to like get some like at least they got some stuff back now with beating an outsider in a champion carnival final, but they need to start getting some win. Like I like the feud that they're doing, where like all of these invaders come into All Japan and they take all of their titles, but they need to like start. Like now is the time for All Japan to make its comeback and get its titles back.
Well, right. And I think they also need to make a statement to younger wrestlers and outsiders that they may try to bring into the company that there are opportunities here for you.
Yeah. Isn't that's something like Ashino said, like in the post-match promo, right? Where he was like, even smaller wrestlers have a chance in All Japan.
Yes, right. So I think it sends a message that if he wins a Triple Crown, right? It's not going to be a long reign or anything, but he'll get a couple big defenses and then probably lose to Yuma.
Beating can't like even let's say this is just the title reign where like he beats Nagata to win the title. He defends it once, but it's against Kento, and he beats Kento, and then he loses Yuma. I think you already achieve your job.
Yep, I think so too. But I think if he drops it, it'll be like after the Royal Road tournament. But
yeah,
you never
no,
know.
because Yuma's winning that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most obvious thing right now, that Yuma's winning. I think I was even saying that at the beginning of the year, where I was like, I think Yuma's winning the Royal Road and then winning the title after that.
Yeah, so like Ashino will get like maybe like 2 defenses.
Yeah, which again, that's perfectly acceptable. So like,
I think you could run another defense against Suwama in Cork.
Yeah, that's actually the other one I'm thinking about, where like Suwama makes it, because he's only ever beaten him once in the Champion Carnival, and there's like a ton of history there.
And
so
like
him to actually like overcome
Suwama just coming in there and geeking him out leaves enough like, is Ashino gonna win?
Yes. Especially because that would probably happen at around the exact same time when he did that same thing to Jake Lee a year ago.
Yes. It would be about a year after that.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I think that works. No, but I do think that they need to put the Triple Crown back on like an All Japan game, because actually something I was thinking about them just drawing terribly in Korakuen, but actually doing well everywhere else.
Yeah.
Is I think, and if I remember correctly as well, there was like some sentiment in like Japanese fans online after Nagata won the Triple Crown, where I feel like they're drawing, because Korakuen is like a hardcore crowd, right? Like generally speaking. I think they kind of pissed off some of the hardcores, and that's why the Korakuens have been shit.
Yes, I think that I don't know how much you can extrapolate that, but there are absolutely fans in Japan on Twitter that are not always happy when these outsiders win these big matches in All Japan.
And putting that, and then having someone like Ashino that is clearly like a hardcore favorite, be the one to beat Nagata, I think is then the right call to like kind of like be done like, hey, come back, we need to sell 300 more tickets to
Also, Ashino will walk into All Together as champion.
That's going to be a fucking weird setup if it's going to be like Ashino, Yota Tsuji, and Jake Lee.
Is that show after Dominion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Dominion is at the beginning of June. That's like 3rd or 4th of June.
Okay, yeah.
Or 5th. Yeah, it's definitely like it's early June, so that show is going to be like after Dominion. That's going to be a weird setup of, because Jake Lee doesn't have a title defense until then, so he's definitely going to walk into that as GHC champion.
Yeah. If Sonata does retain, it's going to be 3 All Japan or 3 like Wrestle 1 / All Japan guys.
Yeah, that's also going to be a weird setup. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I mean, it's going to be a weird setup regardless, because even if Nagata wins, then Nagata walks into that one as Triple Crown champion.
Yeah, which is like, I could see that too.
Yeah,
because of a show like that, Nagata being the champion.
No, but I do feel like, I think pulling the trigger now on Ashino, like I feel like maybe there was actually like because again, they never had any crowd reactions to go off of.
Yeah.
And then crowds are allowed to make noise again, and Ashino comes back from his injury and he is super over, and they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we should actually pull the trigger on this guy.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they went to the effort of doing that, teasing that Nagata and Ashino stuff on that show on the Korakuen earlier in the week.
Yeah.
So
like I said, there's way too much effort put into this for this to just be Nagata hits the backdrop and just pins Tsuji after like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now watch that be exactly what happens.
Yeah, I know. So during the longest intermission, All Japan announced a bunch of more matches for upcoming shows. I think some important, interesting stuff coming up is on May 13th in Toyama, Ryuki Honda versus Manabu Soya. Paul, do you think it's possible we're getting a GOA versus Congo match after they beat Suwama and Kono?
I mean, maybe, but that would mean that Ashino isn't winning.
No, this is all Japan. You can be the champion and challenge for the tag titles.
I mean, yeah, but I don't. Oh, you think that actually that Congo is still winning that one then?
Oh yeah, they'll pin Honda.
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, in that case, yeah, sure.
Um,
Because I don't think they're going to make Ashino a double champion. I don't think they're going to go that far.
Yuma Aoyagi and Asuka Aoyagi versus Naruki Doi and Hokuto Omori, and then the memorial match that had already been announced. Shuji Shikawa, Kento Miyahara, and Yuji Nagata versus Suwama, Satoshi Kojima, and Tako Omori, all former Triple Crown champions. Listen to this. May 14th already announced Yuma Aoyagi and Atsuki versus Atsuki Aoyagi. I think that's their hometown. Yeah, Nagano is their hometown.
Yeah.
Listen to this,
Didn't
Paul.
they do that last year as well?
I think so. Paul, this is a match I never knew I wanted. Dan Tamura versus Satoshi Kojima.
Yeah, that was the other one where I got tipped off that, oh yeah, no, Dan isn't winning because he's not going to drop out the new junior champion to Satoshi Kojima. But that's going to rock, yeah.
Yeah. May 18th at Shinkiba. Paul, this is the new announced match. Manabu Soya versus Suwama.
That's a lot of history, actually.
Any Suwama match in Shinkiba these days ends in a no contest.
Yeah, and that is still in May. Yeah, so he's still going to be
It's
here.
3 days before the title match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that definitely there's like it's going to be some barricades thrown, and yeah,
Yeah,
going to get
and
DQ'd.
as we already mentioned on the last show, the Colors and Evolution women's tag match. May 29th at Korakuen Hall. This is where Nagata will be challenging Ashino, but we're also getting Yuma Anzai versus Ryuki Honda. And
I'm really curious about the outcome of that one because normally it's like, oh yeah, the young boy's losing. I don't know.
I mean, could you have Anzai challenge for the Triple Crown during this Ashino reign if Ashino wins?
I mean, if you just yeah, I mean that would be like like I said, if you actually want to like set up Ashino as like this guy that is like someone that Anzai needs to overcome long term, maybe
Anzai's already beaten
start that
Ashino.
early. Oh, shit! I forgot. Yeah, he did. That was his last loss in the traffic carnival.
Which makes
Never
it.
mind.
I don't know, man.
I think you
just
got a
pulled
pin in a tournament on a Triple Crown champion. One of the
or
few ones.
possible Triple Crown champion.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Anzai versus Ashino is a match you could do during that reign, if Ashino wins.
Yeah.
And then Kento Miyahara and Yuma Aoyagi versus Minoru Suzuki and Hokuto Omori. On June 11th at Fukushima, at the Big Pal at Fukushima, they haven't announced the matches, but the special competitors are Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Yutaka Yoshie, Atsushi Onita, who apparently has not actually vacated the All Asia tag titles.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's just like a short thing, and then he's just going to be back before the next title defense is scheduled, like it would have been silly to strip him.
Yeah. Musashi and Ren Abe. And we have an All Japan AJPW TV 6-man tag team title match. Paul, this sounds atrocious. Takao Mori, Black Menso Ray, and ATM versus Black Tiger, Gorgeous Matsuno, and Aizawa #1.
Why does I really want like why does fucking it's so bad. It's the worst Black Tiger ever.
The worst Black Tiger ever. Absolutely.
He really is. I would literally rather have Nosawa Black Tiger back. I mean, sure. Black Tiger 7, whoever that is.
Yeah, and then Shotaro, Ashino, and Ryuki Honda versus Minoru Suzuki and Hokuto Omori. And then on June 15th at Korakuen Hall, we've got Minoru Suzuki, Hokuto Omori, and Naruki Doi versus Kaz Hayashi, Satoshi Kojima, and Taiyo Kea. That is some pro wrestling love reunion right there.
And curious, they've announced this Taiyo Kea match, right?
Yeah.
But he has 2 matches, and they didn't announce the other one.
No, they didn't announce anything on that Oda War on the 17th of June.
Yeah, but you know what I'm feeling like? We're going to get the return of partisan forces.
Yeah, I think that's very possible.
Where Taiyo Kea like turns on the others and then teams with Suzuki on the Oda War show.
Oh, you think so? Oh, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That does make sense. Okay, so on May 5th, Evolution held their second show, Hatage, at Shinkiba Fruit Ring. Maya Yukihi defeated Chi-Chi in 12 minutes and 14 seconds with a sliding kick. Mei Saruga defeated Sunny in 10 minutes and 24 seconds with a foot stomp. And Hiroyu Matsumoto defeated Zones in 14 minutes and 28 seconds with a Texas Cloverleaf hold. If anything services, I'll let you know. Even though
We'll probably get highlights.
all of those matches sound like great
Yeah.
matchups for them.
Oh yeah, no. I think Maisa Ruga with Chi probably would be the one I would be like most interested in actually seeing.
I think the one with Saruga would be like the perfect sort of like high speed style matchup. Paul, did you watch the Saito brothers in Great?
The one versus Bulk Orchestra, right? Oh no, no,
No,
no, that was just where they appeared. No, I haven't then, no.
so I watched it before we watched the show. They took on the team of Minoru Tanaka and Yu Izuka. It was okay. The first half of the match, it was like went 10 minutes. The first half of the match was them just beating up Minoru Tanaka, which was, whatever. And then the last couple of minutes against like Ray and Yu Izuka was actually kind of good. So, I wouldn't say you have to go out and rush out and see this though.
I mean, I'm sure that like size difference was fun to see though.
Yeah, but as I said this before, I don't think the Saitos work against smaller guys that well, which is counterintuitive because you think, oh, well, they'll just bump around a lot. But
Yeah,
they work best when they're running into other large men.
yeah, true. Yeah, they work best when they wrestle like Honda or Suwama.
Yeah. So that is All Japan and the world of All Japan. Paul, I think that they're riding the most momentum they've had in quite some time right now.
Yeah, no, no, especially doing that great number, like actually going with a fresh cut
Because
as
I mean,
well, which
the
yeah,
Champion Carnival was not bad, but like I can only
no.
give it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10 for the block stuff.
Yeah, it was solid. There was nothing really blow away in any of the block
No.
matches, and even the final, like it was a good final, but it also was like a step below like other Champion Carnival
I mean,
finals.
there have
So
been worse carnivals with better finals.
yes, no, the 2021 for sure.
Yeah. So that's that. So, Paul, we decided why not some Big Japan. Are you ready for some Big
Yeah,
Japan?
yes,
Paul,
I am.
how much Big
Big
Japan
Japan
have
is
you
back.
Yeah, Big Japan is back, baby. How much Big Japan have you been watching as of late?
Not a lot.
I've
It
only
used
been
to be,
watching any astronauts tag matches that have any
yeah.
kind of hype. That's all I've been watching.
I've really kind of fallen off. Like 2018, they were actually like Big Japan was one of my favorite promotions that
Oh,
year.
for sure.
It was
So,
so good, and then they just fell off a cliff completely.
so I think I'm going to start watching more Big Japan.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I think
Now
definitely like the strong division at least. Like I think
we'll
they have
get back
something.
into this, but there are still some problems with the company.
No, they're absolutely. That's one of the big issues why Big Japan fell off so hard was the strong division was always solid. It was the deathmatch division that just became
Well,
actually
the
just
strong division also did
bad.
become a little repetitive.
Yeah, but I
And
think they have something. I think they have something here.
yes, they do. And like, I mean, with all due respect to Yasufumi Nakanoe, but like, he's not strong BJ, nor is he really Yuya Aoki either.
No, no, yeah,
Although Hashimoto sort of came into his own, Daichi.
yeah, yeah.
So first up to open the show, Ender Kara, Chikarito Shoki and Kazumasa Yoshida defeated Kazuki Hashimoto, Tatsuhiko Yoshino, and Satsuki Nago in 11 minutes with a bloody Sunday from Kara on Yoshino. This is my first time seeing Ender Kara. He was pretty solid, I thought, and this is a good opener. Like is a junior 6-man that you wanted to like heat up the crowd with.
Yeah. No, I really like Endakara. Like I've seen him a couple of times. He is from Sweden, and yeah, I've seen him in WXW at the 16 carat last year, where he was at the Ambition show, and I think he was like at the normal carat show as well. But yeah, no, he was really good there. And then I've recently seen him in Berlin in GWF as well, where he made his debut for that promotion actually. and they put him against Erkan Sultani, who's like the tallest guy, who's like legit like 2 meters something tall. Like it was a very big size difference, and basically no one really like I knew who he was, but like there weren't really all that many people who knew who he was, and he just went absolute ballistic. Like he did that thing where like you know how a guy just goes like absolutely insane for like the first like 2 minutes of the match to just really get the crowd like into him. And yeah, he did that and just stayed over for the rest of the match. And no, I'm really happy that like he like seems to have found like not a home, but at least like getting regular bookings from Big Japan, because as a gaijin, that is like a really hard thing to do,
Yes, it is.
especially as a smaller one as well.
Definitely. Is it because Great Kojika allegedly doesn't like foreigners, or is it because the company has no money, or is it a little from column A and column B?
I think it's a little from column A and a little from column B, because I think a little less so now from column A, because they basically booked like no foreigners, like pretty much at all for like a good chunk. And I think now that Kojika has very clearly taken a bit more of a step back, like all of a sudden they start bringing in more foreigners, and yeah. So I think now it's just more column B than it is column A at this point.
Mm-hmm. And then next up, the welcome back barbed wire board death match. I don't know who's being welcomed back here. Do you know?
No, I don't know. I don't know any of them. I do know the people in there, but I don't know if any of them were like injured recently.
Yeah. Minoru Fujita, maybe? I don't know.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Ryuji Ito, Takashi Sasaki, and Daiju Wakamatsu defeated Minoru Fujita, Kankuro Hoshino, and Yuichi Taniguchi in 13 minutes and 12 seconds with a diving Bakachiga elbow drop from Wakamatsu on Taniguchi. You know, it was a match.
It was fine. Yeah. Did you see the belt that Kankuro Hoshino brought out with him?
I did.
Do you know which title that is?
Is that
I know, but
Canadian
I'm
title?
wondering the what?
Is that Canadian title?
No, that is the Yokohama six-man shopping street title.
Oh, okay.
The most infuriating title in all of wrestling history to keep track of.
Yes.
Because Big Japan is utterly terrible at reporting results where this title gets defended. So it disappears for like months, and then all of a sudden a different team pops up holding the belts. And Big Japan just never reported the result of the title match, so you had no idea it changed hands. Drove me insane for a while.
So,
But
yeah, I mean,
no.
you know, this was, I don't know. I didn't like it that much.
No. It was really like not all of them, but most of the death matches were like just pretty forgettable on the show.
Next up, Ryota Hama, Yasufumi Nakanue, and Andy Wu defeated Daisuke Sekimoto, Daichi Hashimoto, and Daimonji So with a diving elbow drop from Nakanue on So. Okay, so I mean, I thought this match was mostly just there. It was perfectly acceptable six-man tag team wrestling. But I got to say, I know that Daimonji So has like become a Big Japan regular and has even challenged a couple times for the strong title. He's gotten pretty good, and he's like dramatically improved his look.
Yeah, no. He is definitely. I'm happy that he kind of got away from the whole like Lansing crowd.
Yes,
because that's just going nowhere. Like,
oh God, no. Yeah, he had to strike out on his own because he had the size. I thought he had the talent whenever he would pop up in All Japan. So he's actually like, making those strides now.
Yeah.
And if he turns into something, Big Japan will give him a chance.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the one advantage of being in Big Japan, right? Like at least they're like, because they're desperate, they're willing to like give people chances.
Yes. Next up was the Yokohama Saikyu Budokai TLC deathmatch. Masashi Takeda and Takumi Tsukamoto defeated Michio Kajiyama and Yusaku Ito in 11:35 with the reverse U crash from Takeda on Ito. This was not the best Takeda death match I've ever seen.
No, this was also just sort of there.
Yeah. That's the thing against Takeda. He still has like high-end stuff and like freedoms and everything like that. But, just everybody else in Big Japan death match division is just not doing anything.
Yeah, no, I think it also like if it's just like a random undercard death match, like I get why people don't really want to work that hard on those.
No. But then that's like the double thing is like, okay, when you don't want to work hard in a death match, that's worse than not wanting to work hard in like a normal
Yeah,
match.
yeah. And you're still like bleeding all over the place. So it's even weirder that you're like not really doing anything.
However, I think things changed in the death match a bit. Here, Iron Cage
Yeah.
death match. Yankee Tukenju, Asami Kodaka, and Yuko Miyamoto defeated Kazumi Kakuta and Yuki Ishikawa. No, not that Yuki Ishikawa. In 13 minutes and 17 seconds with a diving double knee drop from the cage by Kodaka on Ishikawa. Oh, this was a ton of fun. And
Yeah.
like Kodaka and Ishikawa were doing crazy shit with the cage. And like I thought Ishikawa was sort of the star of this match.
Yeah. No, I really love that like not that Yuki Ishikawa became a deathmatch guy because it's like so like the opposite of the other one.
Yes, definitely the perfect like opposite.
No, but this was awesome. Like I think I mean Yankee to Kenjo are just an amazing tag team, always have been, still are.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they did some crazy stuff in here as well. Like I was actually kind of I felt like they didn't really involve the cage all that much, but then they used it perfectly for the finish. Like
Mm-hmm.
that finish was like really, really nice where Yuko Miyamoto's in the cage and then basically it was who was it again that clapped on top of it?
Kodaka dived off.
No, before Kodaka dived off. Uh, when Yuko Miyamoto was like in the cage and he shook the cage to like make the person collapse on top of the cage.
Wasn't it Ishikawa?
Yeah, oh yeah, right. That was Ishikawa. Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically Ishikawa's on top of the cage. He's about to dive on Kodaka. And then Miyamoto is in the cage and he just like shakes the cage to make Ishikawa fall over and he just climbs on top of the cage and he just does this like just no fucks given, just basically he did not really like look at all like how to like you know how sometimes when people then they do like a hurricane run off the top they like really make sure that everything is like set up perfectly
Yeah.
before they do it. No, he just climbed on top and he just did it. Like he just climbed up and just hit him with a like basically the second he got on top of the cage he just immediately just did the like hurricane runner off the cage
Yeah.
just in one fluid motion. That was great. And then Idaka climbs to the top and just the knee drop like off the cage for the finish onto Ishikawa. No, that was a really great finish.
Yeah. And so that was the best death match on the show.
Oh yeah, by far. Not even close.
Okay, so next up for the Big Japan Junior Heavyweight title, Kaiji Tomato defeated Kota Sekafuda in 17 minutes and 32 seconds with the red eye, ending. Sekafuda had like quite the reign here.
Mhm.
A long one. Let me just see here because I was looking at this earlier. He was champion for 651 days.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And he made like 11 defenses of the title. And
I think
so
I think he beat like Yuya for the title as well,
he
right?
beat Kodaka for the title on
Kodaka.
July 22nd, 2021.
Wow.
So this is all going on when I'm not watching Big Japan, but Sekafuda, and I went back and I looked at some stuff. Sekafuda is really good.
Yeah, no, he's become really good. Like he was more of a comedy guy, I think like last time I watched Big Japan, but yeah, he's grown like a ton as a worker since then.
He's short even for a junior, but he's like thick.
Yeah.
And he does like a very like, fast-paced power style.
Yeah. No, he's definitely come like a long way. I mean, that's like even the thing, like because I remember like back when the Big Japan like junior division was introduced, everyone was like, I don't know about this one, but I think like it's actually kind of secretly been like one of the better things the company has actually had in recent years.
Yeah. I'm just looking here. Oh, there's a match from February 12th of him and Abe against Abe versus Sekafuda that's got an 8.36 on Cage Match. So I might have to track that down.
Yeah, that might actually be up on Core by now.
By now, yes. Well, yeah, I mean that's another reason. I mean, I might even be willing to like pay for Core if it like could upload in like even 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I would even be happy if it was like within a week
Yes.
and not 3 months later.
Yeah. That's the big thing why I don't pay for Core.
Yeah,
I'll give him 7 days.
Core. I signed up for Core day one, and I actually had it for quite a while until I was just like, I don't know if I want to watch these shows from like 4 months ago. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think Tomato is going to be a long-term champion.
No, that also feels like transition to like
But
whoever like the next guy.
don't know what's going on. And I'm just looking at these names. Like he defended mostly against outsiders.
Hmm?
Like as I'm just looking here, like defended against like Ultimate Spider Jr., like Brahmin
Oh
Ka,
man, and I'm not wearing my Ultimate Spider Junior shirt right now.
Isa 8, Takado Nakano is Bizarra. He defended against Kazuki Hashimoto.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's someone that's like an obvious guy.
Yeah, I
Or
think he
who
will
it
get at
might
least
be?
one. I think he gets one defense because I think Endakara is challenging him next.
Oh, okay. Kazumasa Yoshida.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like young, isn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's who would be the next sort of longer term guy. So I guess so. You can watch it to see what happens with the junior heavyweight title in Big Japan and everything like that. But Sekafuda was he's really good if you haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Next up for the Big Japan Tag Team title, Takuya Nomura and Fuminori Abe defeated Takuho Kato and Hiroyuki Suzuki in 17 minutes and 8 seconds with the full Dragon Suplex from Nomura on Kato. This was awesome. This is the second best match of the show.
Amazing. Yeah.
Just like Kato and like Nomura were like the stars of this. Just kicking the shit out of each other.
Nomura, like I felt like Nomura was even more vicious than he normally is. Like, he just beat the absolute shit out of Kato.
Yeah. Just
like those slaps were like legitimately like on the level. It's like it's the work, right? Nomura, like did someone forget to tell you?
Yeah. Given I know that people are having some debates about tag teams. People have noted that like FTR and the Bucks have not wrestled a whole lot this year so far. And people bring up like Aussie Open and Bishamon, but I think you got to put Astronauts in the 2023 Tag Team of the Year conversation.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like every time they pop up anywhere, like they're absolutely amazing.
But
Just
I went for
top
4.5 on this. This was incredible.
Yeah. Like I'm actually sad because they're gonna be in the WXW World Tag Team League later this year, and I'm not gonna be able to go.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be on a work trip to Ireland.
Who else is in that tournament?
They're like the first team announced so far.
Oh, okay. So I guess it'll be
it's a while off still. Like it's at the end of September.
Oh, okay. But yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that sucks. Well, I'm going to be away during Forbidden Door. So.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that might be worse because at least I don't live close to where like WXW is running.
Right.
Because like Essen, like that's like a 5-hour train ride for me. But like you're literally like around the corner from Forbidden Door, and you're just like, nah, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
Well, I have a vacation planned already, so
yeah.
What can I say? Before it was it was planned before Forbidden Door was announced. So next up, Big Japan Heavyweight Title, Yokohama Explosion Jungle Death Match. Abdullah Kobayashi defeated Hideyoshi Kamitani in 18 minutes and 19 seconds with the diving Bakachinga elbow drop to win the title again for God knows how many times he's won that title. His sixth deathmatch heavyweight title win.
Only it felt like the 500th.
Yeah, that ends Kamitani's 249-day title reign.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's stronger than his like strong BJ title reign.
How long was that?
That was like 130 something.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either.
No.
It was slow. Hopefully, this means it's time to pull Kamitani out of the deathmatch division. He seemed like a stopgap measure, but he's more needed in the strong division.
Yeah. And he's like a guy that you can like have like challenge Yuya or and he can like run through Okami and everything to establish himself. So yeah,
But Guy
I
does
don't
look.
like I don't like I just like I'm so done with Abdullah as the deathmatch heavyweight champion. Like I said, yeah, the deathmatch division has just been it's been really weird because it peaked so high. Like it was like pretty solid always, and then just like in 2018 with that Takeda reign, it was just like actually genuinely amazing. And then
Mhm.
they pulled the trigger finally at the Sumo Hall, at the Sumo Hall show in late 2018, where they put it on uh, Masaya Takanashi, and then I don't even know, like I don't even like they just felt that like they never went back to him afterwards. Like they gave him a decently long title win, and I thought it was pretty solid, and then he just took the title off of him and just completely depushed him. Like he had his entire, like he had his faction and everything, like the Chimidori brothers with
Mhm.
Ueki and Sakuda,
Mhm.
and like that was really good. And then like all of that, they just stripped it away and they just went back to Ryuji Ito, who's also like who's been washed for like a really long time, and he was washed in 2018, and he's still washed now, and he's won the deathmatch heavyweight title like 2 times since then. So like it's not even just Abdullah that is the problem here. Like it's like people talk about Noah being like the promotion that just like puts titles on older wrestlers. Like the Big Japan Deathmatch Heavyweight like division is so much worse for just sticking with the same guys and just refusing to move on to like new guys. Like it's and I think that's one of the biggest issues Big Japan has. If they actually pulled the trigger on some of these younger guys and actually like develop them, like did that like obviously like we as the Westerners, like we like all of the like Daisuke Sekimoto and like all of the like strong division stuff with like just big like beefy dudes just hitting each other hard. But like the stuff that Big Japan like historically has been drawing on is the deathmatch division. And I think it's really like been more bound by just Abdullah and Ito just refusing to move on.
Yes. Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't know where it goes from
like it, because
here.
it even drove away like some of the younger guys like to like freedoms. Like freedoms exist because
Ueki,
like Ueki is there, Sakuda is there.
Takeda.
So
Well, I mean Takeda's still around, but he's never made it.
Takeda is like but Takeda was never signed to Big Japan. Like even when he had his title reign, like
Yeah.
I think he was even a freedoms guy back then. But yeah, no, I mean, but still, like it's been an issue. Like just well, like they had this really strong period, and then they've just completely just the old guys come back and take over, and it basically derailed the promotion completely.
Yeah. That's a very common problem in professional wrestling sometimes,
Yeah,
you know? So, yep. I don't know where the division goes from there or
I mean,
anything
as
like
long as
that.
it doesn't go back to oh God, imagine if they do Ito versus. They're probably going to do Ito versus Abdullah again because
They might
fuck it,
just.
why not?
All right. But we still have one more match to talk about for the Big Japan World Strong Heavyweight Championship. Yuya Aoki defeated Yuji Okabayashi in 27 minutes and 47 or in 40 seconds with a Tiger Suplex hold to win the title for the first time. My God, this was an incredible match. One of the best matches of the year so far. 4 3/4. Just
Yeah.
another war. It really recalled because, like, look, in the strong division, there's some younger guys. They went like with Nakanui again. Hashimoto finally sort of grew into his own and had a successful reign. But like, there's still a lot of repetition, right?
Hmm?
Like, Okabayashi had just defended the title against Sekimoto a couple weeks before this show, right? So
Yeah.
they, you know, they needed a new blood in that title scene, and obviously they've been building Aoki up since like 2 years now since he like left the junior division and
Hmm.
everything like that. So and obviously Takuya Nomura finally won, although you can debate whether he got the reign he should have. Um, but you
I
know,
mean, but to be fair, I also don't feel like Nomura is like the top. Like he's obviously like a guy that you want to put him in events, but I don't think he's like a guy that can carry your promotion. even in Big Japan.
More so than Aoki? Or you think Aoki can carry it better?
I think they have something here. I think they have something here with Aoki.
Okay.
I think he's a guy that you can actually go forward with as like the ace of the strong division.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need someone now. Because obviously, like they've been going back to like the Okabayashi
Yep.
and like the
I mean,
Daisuke
I would
Sekimoto
say
but
I mean, some of these Nomura and Okabayashi matches are incredible, but this really sort of, to me, calls back to 2015, 2016 with like Ishikawa and Okabayashi and Sekimoto and Kamitani.
Mhm.
Like this, remember the match that Kamitani first won the title?
yeah, no, that was amazing too. And then
Right. It sort
that
of reminded me
rain
of that
wasn't great.
a bit. Yeah. But it sort of reminded me a bit of that too, like the
Yeah.
heat from, and then you're like just an utter brutal war that, the young guy won and became the champion and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but like to me, yeah, because now it's now or never. Like because I feel like they kind of chickened out on Kamatani, but it was because they had the safety blanket of like still having a peak Daisuke Sekimoto and Yuji Okabayashi go back to.
Yes.
And you don't have that anymore. Like Okabayashi can still go, but Sekimoto's washed.
Yeah.
And he's kind of done. Like he can still, like every once in a while, he can still turn it on, but like on average, he's pretty washed at this stage.
You can't have him
So
carrying the title.
exactly. And I think also the advantage with Yuya as well that he is like someone that is like very different from what they've had at the top of the strong division, but that can still do that style as well, while he still
Yes.
adds something completely new. Because they've never like Big Japan's never had a high flyer like a position like this.
Right. Or someone that can at least do those sort of moves, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm not saying that he's like commander or something, but he can do some like really crazy, like he can do some high spots and everything and get some excitement. But then he can also just stand in there and just deliver an absolute crazy chop fast with Okabayashi like he did here.
Yeah.
But no, this match was like absolutely amazing. Like I think I'm really I'm still kind of bored and I might need to rewatch it because I was flirting with full 5 on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now I'm at 4.75, but I might have to bump this up to a 5 if on rewatch because I was really tired when I watched this match. I watched the show yesterday and I started the show at like 8, and since the show went on forever, like it was pretty much around midnight by the time the main event rolled around. So I was really, especially after that deathmatch title match, I was really tired. So, but no, this had like, yeah, this had really everything I really want out of a title match. Like, you had like the young guy, like finally, like he went in there, like with the legend, with the guy that have been like on top of the promotion, like forever at this point. Like really, like even more so than like Sekimoto as like the guy that is really like the symbol of the promotion, really, or at least the symbol of like the strong division. And he just goes in there and he just like stands up to him. And he like Yuji Okabayashi is like a literal mountain that Yuya Aoki has to climb to like overcome and finally become like the top guy in the promotion. I think that's really what like the story of this was as well. It was like Yuya Aoki had to prove himself to Yuji Okabayashi to like become the champion here. Like I remember like that whole like thing that they did where Yuji Okabayashi was like at the top to like prepare for the Golem Slam. And then he like shoves off Yuya like 4 or 5 times, basically. And Yuya just refuses to like stay down. Like he just immediately knows like he's just basically like staggering back up, like barely any power left because he knows if he's like even staying down for a second to catch his breath, Yuji Okabayashi is gonna like come down on him with the golem splash and the match is over. So he's just like, he gets shoved up and he just staggers back up every single time, just runs back to the top rope to like get Okabayashi out like by any means necessary. And yeah, no, there were some crazy spots in here as well. Like I remember when Okabayashi was like standing like next to the top turnbuckle and then Aoki just drop kicks him and Okabayashi just takes a flat back bump onto the concrete.
Yep.
Like, it's just crazy stuff. Just, yeah, no, absolutely amazing match. And I have a feeling that this could potentially end up at the top of my match of the year list. but it will definitely be on the list. Like I have no doubt that when this year's over, this will be somewhere in the top 10 and probably in the top 5, potentially at the top spot even.
Yep, it's that good, people. You got to see it. You absolutely have to see it.
If look, this show is like the file's like what, 5 hours?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could fast forward.
Yeah,
I did, and it actually dramatically reduced the time.
yeah, I didn't, because the way I watched it is I have this really wonky media server setup going, but I can't really fast forward if I beam it onto my TV. So yeah, so basically I had to watch the full thing. I couldn't go back if I missed anything. I just had to watch the whole thing. Yeah, and I couldn't fast forward either. So I actually just sat there for the entire intermission too. That's why I told him I was really tired. I literally had to watch the entire thing. So yeah, no, but like if you watch anything from this, watch this. There's other matches as well I would recommend. Like definitely like the
tag title,
the Yankee to Kenju, the Yankee to Kenju death match, the tag title match, the junior tag title match as well, I would say. But if you don't have time for any of that, you need to make time for this. Like if you want to make like an actual like proper year-end list of the top matches that have happened in the world this year, not just Japan, but like anywhere, you need to watch this.
Mm-hmm. And we forgot to mention this drew 1,828 fans to Yokohama Budokan, which they did similar number last year, but it's possible that they discounted the tickets again.
Yes, that's what they did last year. Where like I think you could get like into the building for like what, like $12 or something.
You can get in the building for like 1,500 yen.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was like super cheap.
Yeah. So that works because their Korakuen,
I mean, it helped. Yeah,
their Korakuen numbers are still very dire.
Yeah,
like 300-400.
This was like 6 Hurricanes for them.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I think
it just helps perception to just have your new guy get put over in the front of a crowd this big.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, it was worth it. So I think we're gonna have to keep more of an eye on Big Japan.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm really invested now into this Yuya Aoki title reign. Now watch him lose it to like Daisuke Sekimoto in like 2 weeks.
All right, Paul, any other closing thoughts?
Not much right now, but yeah, as I said, Big Japan might get added a bit more to the rotation now. So you guys can keep looking forward to that one, because yeah, it used to be a promotion I really deeply loved and I actually know quite a bit about. So if it actually becomes good now, I'm more than happy to add it more regularly to the rotation.
Definitely. So it's going to be shows are going to be happening in the next week or so, but nothing majorly quiet. So probably the next time you hear us, we'll be talking about that World Tag Title match with Congo versus Voodoo Murders.
Yeah, I have a really strong feeling I know what's happening.
Yeah. Paul, do you want to make that prediction and get it on audio?
Oh, yeah, no, it's absolutely Keno and Soya beating Voodoo Murderers, and then Suwama either at that show or like at the next All Japan shows getting kicked out of Voodoo Murderers.
So Suwama will be a babyface by June 1st, basically.
He will be a babyface when he is teaming with Yuma Anzai on June 3rd, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
he will be a babyface at that show.
Yeah, there's a Korakuen on the 29th. Prediction. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we will see if that happens. So for Paul Vosh, I'm George Ochoyo, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling podcast network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
Music. It's not just part of our daily lives, it's part of our wrestling fandom as well, and it has been for decades. That's where this show comes in. Music of the Mat, the podcast devoted exclusively to the music of pro wrestling, hosted by Andrew Rich. Hey, that's me. Each episode delivers a different topic with a variety of great guests, fun conversations, musical analysis, and of course, a heartfelt pun or two. New episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice. Check out Music of the Mat only on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.